Okay, guys, so for the learn, what we're going to do today is examine a thesis. And so our craft question is, why is using a broad category to develop a thesis statement important? Meaning, why just write something broad and not be specific when you're writing a thesis statement? Well, here's one of the reasons why you do that. You do that so that way you can really write everything, go into really a lot of details about whatever your topic is. You want to be able to really delve into it. So your thesis statement, you want to just kind of broadly tell them what is to come. So then that way, as you progress throughout your paper or your essay, you'll be able to go into details at that time. But your thesis statement should just be a rough synopsis or just a quick overview of everything that is to come. So, what do we already know about a thesis statement? We're eighth graders now, so we know that a thesis is the central idea of an essay. It appears in the introduction of an essay, and usually it's the last or the last two sentences in the introduction. And then when you get to the conclusion, usually you restate what your thesis was, okay? And then, what would be an overarching idea for an essay about trench warfare? I thought about that and I wanted to give you a couple of examples. And so, one of the examples would be the way that trench warfare caused suffering and loss of life for soldiers. So, that would be a good overarching thesis over what has been taking place in the trenches. And then you could go into detail saying that Albert leg was amputated. Paul was shot. Paul ended up having to kill the French soldier. You could say that Hematas died. These are specific details that you would be talking about, but the overarching detail or synopsis of the essay could be the way trench warfare caused suffering and loss of life for soldiers. So that would be a good topic. Then, if I can get this to cooperate, yes, here it is. What I wanted to do is provide you with another exemplar of a thesis statement. So, based off of what we've been reading in All Quiet on the Western Front, this would be a great example. World War I is known for introducing modern warfare, a type of fighting that forever changed the nature of armed conflict. Trench warfare, one of the best known innovations, had dramatic effects on the soldiers and on society's attitudes towards war. That would be a great example of a thesis statement for our novel, All Quiet on the Western Front. But now I want to provide you kind of like a sneak peek into what we are going to be reading next. And so here, what our thesis statement for our new book, which is A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's kind of like a folk tale, a magical, whimsical book written by Shakespeare. And so the moral or thesis of that particular novel is love always wins. So it's really like a triangle of love. There are two men who are in love with the same woman, and she's torn on who to actually choose. Then there's another woman looming in the air, and she is in love with one particular guy. And originally, he was in love with her too until he saw the new girl. So it's just a love triangle going on there. So we will start that when we come back from our holidays. And two other examples of thesis statements would be those running for president should be held to a higher standard of ethical behavior. And then from there, you could kind of put details as to why you feel that way. And then another example would be the vaccine created by our team of researchers is promising in the fight against the virus. And that touches home to us today with COVID 19. And we now have a vaccine that is now going to be distributed amongst our citizens. So these are the examples of thesis statements.